Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Anahita TV. I'm so happy to be here. One of the reasons I wanted to make this video, as actually it's something I've been thinking about for many months, but I didn't know how to bring it about. It's something that I've noticed there was a hidden war between men and women, and I feel like this may have been created by what is now called the Matrix, and people are believing in it. I've believed in or known about the Matrix for most of my life. I'm very intuitive, and I had a feeling that people didn't understand, but I'm so happy that people are now awake so we can openly talk about this. And one of the things I noticed when I noticed the Matrix many years ago, the slow degeneration of relationship between men and women. And I feel like if you guys believe in the Matrix, it's on purpose to discontinue our relationships, marriage, the things that are sacred between men and women, and to create, I guess, a less population, more control. So I don't want to get too much into the Matrix. I just want to help our fellow men. A lot of men feel left out. They feel like everything is always about women. But I want to let you know that you are not left out, that I care. I have a dad and brothers and uncles and male cousins that I love very much and I care about, and their health and wellness is really important to me. I believe in marriage. I believe in the institution very much. My parents are still married and love each other very much, so I can come from a very positive background when it comes to marriage due to my upbringing. However, unfortunately, I myself am divorced, so I understand. Divorce is very rare in my family. I'm not going to talk about, I guess, how mine happened, but I actually gave it my all for many years, more than because I believe in the union, more than I needed to make sure that this was the right decision. Okay, so now let's get into men's health. The reason I made this video is that I studied psychology, and one of the first things we learned in psychology, in family psychology, was that there's a huge difference when it comes to health in single men versus married men. Married men are generally much more healthier. Number one, they have a higher mortality rate, which means they live much longer. One of the reasons they live much longer is because the woman is there, and a lot of times the work in the household is shared now these days. In the past, used to be the mother or the wife that would do all the housework, but now it is shared. In my family, I was born and raised in Iran, where my mom was a homemaker, but when we moved to Canada, both my dad and my mom had to work to make a living. Therefore, I actually became the mom. I started cooking and learning how to take care of my brothers when my parents were at work. But at the same time, my dad, being this old school guy, I love how my dad just embraced our new lifestyle. He started to learn how to cook when my mom wasn't there. He started helping around the house with the cleaning, with the chores, because they worked the same amount of hours outside the home. So he thought it was not fair for him to sit down and watch TV when my mom was doing all the housework. So he did help. But however, my mom did 90% of the cooking, but my dad did, for someone who grew up in an old school society, he was very helpful, unlike our other family, other people that I had met. However, my family is very loving and kind, and very what you would call it, very united. I feel like that's why most of the family members in even my extended family, the marriages did work and the marriages lasted a long time. And so I want to be able to help you answer any of your questions. Let me know if this is helping out. Again, I want to stress how much I care about men's health. Without you, there is no future. So men and women, we need each other to survive and thrive and create the next generation. So I want to get rid of this mindset that there's a war between us. I want to clear the air. Not many people think that way. It's I want to tell you also how it started, this whole war situation. Now that I'm older and I can see, and looking in the past and in the when I was a teenager, At school, we were taught um, to be a businesswoman was much more, is something that we should look forward to more when I grew up in Canada than being a mother. So being a mother was not very revered, very, it was not something that it was so funny that they even stressed, oh, there's so many children, you shouldn't want to have children. um I remember when I was a teenager, when I was 17 or 18, I met a guy that I really liked, and we, when you're young, you talk about things, you talk about marriage and etc. In my 20s, it was the same guy I was dating. And when we talked about marriage, now that I look back, I was so stupid. The school system had worked its way into my brain, because I would tell him, no, I did not want to have children of my own and I wanted to adopt. And it was such a, now that I think back, that is so weird that I was influenced. Young minds are really, precious and really easily influenced. And the schools, if we trust the schools uh, to do our job as parents, parenting job, then they're gonna say whatever they want, whatever, and right now, all our kids are addicted and glued to their phones or to their iPads, and everything they learn is through these social mediums. So it's even stronger, because now they make these devices so addictive that our kids, the only way they're learning is through that. And when I have a kid, I have a daughter, when I want to communicate with her, it's really hard to get her attention. And one of the things I love about Patrick Bet David is that he says, we only have those 18 years with our children, and that's the time we have to influence our kids. And I love how he raises his children. I recommend watching his videos about child rearing as a dad. So this video was made for men. Let's continue. The reason men that are married are healthier is also because they get regular checkups. How many men do you know that never see the doctor? I know when during my single years, when I was with the person I was dating, he never saw the doctor. And a lot of times his ankle had to be broken a couple of times for him to see the doctor. That's how regularly. He didn't even see a dentist. I had to force him to see a dentist. So a lot of times women are the ones who are encouraging men to see a doctor to make sure they are healthy. And higher standard of living. This one, I know you guys believe me when I say a man would never care about his furniture. He doesn't care about what kind of food he eats most of the time. There's only a certain group of men that eat very healthy, that exercise all the time, regularly, and make sure they get enough food intake. Now that our knowledge is a little bit stronger, and we have more access to information about food, health, and diet, more men, I feel, are healthier. However, a lot of the guys who are working 9 to 5, they come home, watch television, and then a lot of times they're working on the computer. That's a sedentary life, which will actually shorten your life. But if you're married, your wife makes sure that you go see a doctor at least, or gets your butt to the gym. She's got to tell you, what's that gut doing that hanging a little low, let's get you to the gym. So I feel like when you're married, you have a much higher standard of living. And then we also talk about healthy diet. And this is the one that I didn't put in, of course, regular sex. Men need to have, every man, I believe, is different, but I believe that every man needs to have a sexual partner. And when you're married, you have a regular, I'm not sure about the dynamics of every marriage. However, the American Men's Health, I believe, said most men need to be sexually active at least once a week physically. And one of the reasons I feel like porn has been a very negative entity, or negative, it has been very negative in married life, and also single men. They feel like they get their release by themselves, so they're like, oh, I didn't even have to take her to dinner, ha ha ha. But it's not funny, because it's gonna a lot of men have a hard time keeping themselves excited when they are around women, because they are so used to doing the sexual act by themselves. When they do date, they have a hard time, you know, getting it up, as they say. I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but these are, you know, honest conversations we need to have, and porn is not always the best answer. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you have any questions about this or the study. It's actually a Harvard study. If you Google men's health, marriage, men's health, and Harvard study, it'll come up and it'll tell you exactly all the information that you need about this. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.